and you're welcome to Sarah Football. My name is Raphael Bannerman Courtier, and this week we look at a very pertinent issue that has been making rounds in the local media landscape. If you quite remember, last week Accra Hearts of Oak were involved with Kumasi Asante Kotoko in the Super Clash. The Kumasi Babara Sports Stadium. At the end of 90 minutes, it was Hearts of Oak who lost to the nemesis, that is Kumasi Asante Kotoko, by 2-3. There were a lot of talking points, there were a lot of highlights in that particular game, but our attention moves quickly to the star man of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Richmond Lamptey. Richmond Lamptey garnered a lot of interest and a lot of attention for himself after Kumasi Asante Kotoko made it possible to win against Hearts of Oak. I mean, when you look at Richmond Lamptey's impact in that particular game against Accra Hearts of Oak, I mean, it drew a lot of plaudits to the fact that this guy should make it as one of the 25-man squad that will play for the senior national team, the Black Stars, in AFCON 2023 that is slated for Ivory Coast. There's a lot of attention that has come. There's a lot of people that are saying that Richmond Lamptey should be on the plane that will touch base in Ivory Coast next year. And this has raised this sort of talking points. People are saying that, is it because he's a local player that is why people are garnering for him to be included in Chris Hughton's side? Because people are just making sharp contrast to the fact that Ifri Ebania, he used to play for Hearts of Oak, now he's with FC Zurich in the Swiss League. Danlad Ibrahim, he's a goalkeeper of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. He was included in Ghana's squad that made it to the World Cup just last year in Qatar. So if there is that sort of talking points that have been raised as to whether Richmond Lamptey should also make it because he's a local player, that's also another subject interest. Because are we moving or are we taking Richmond Lamptey to the AFCON because he's a local player, because we need to add local content, because he's a domestic player, because he plays for Kumasi Asante Kotoko? Are we adding him to the 25-man squad because of all those with him? And you're also asking yourself, there is a lot of talking points, there's a lot of arguments that have been raised. Are we adding him to the setup because he's a local player? That's one side of the argument. Others are also asking that if you're adding Richmond Lamptey to the side, who is he displacing in the heart of midfield? Richmond Lamptey is a very creative force. Sometimes he plays in the heart of midfield in the 8th section, likes to progress ball, is a creative force if you ask me, and his profile is much suited to somebody like Machida Shmero. He's a former Wafa Academy product. Richmond Lamptey himself is a former Wafa product, playing some years ago with Wafa. And you look at the side that he played, the likes of Razak Abelora, he played with Martin Intri, Gideon Waja, Gideon Mensah, Samuel Tete. These are some of the players he played with. Ibrahim Sanda. These are some of the players Richmond Lamptey played with those days in Wafa. And you know, like a similar profile of player like Machida Shmero, he's a very energetic force, creative force. He progresses ball. His technical abilities, I mean, you can't doubt the abilities of Richmond Lamptey. But the question then remains that if we are adding him to the squad that will be playing in AFCON, you look at the heart of midfield, we have players like Edmond Ado, Majida Shmero, Abdul Salih Samed. He's plays in the RC Lens in the French League. You look at a player like Baba Idrisu, and other players in the heart of midfield. Who is Richmond Lamptey going to displace? You get it. So these are some of the talking points that have been raised in the aftermath of the Super Clash and how Richmond Lamptey impressed a lot of people with his technical abilities. You look at a player like Richmond Lamptey. I mean, let me give you a bit of his stats. Okay, so Richmond Lamptey, he, like I mentioned before, former Wafa Academy product. He progressed to play for Inter Allies, but unfortunately within 2 years of his playing stint with Inter Allies in the 2020-21 season, they were relegated from the Ghana Premier League before he was recruited by Kumasi Asante Kotoko that 2021-2022 season. So he's played for Kumasi Asante Kotoko for 3 seasons now, and he's impressed. And his first season he played 24 times. He scored 3 goals and assisted once. In the second season, which was the 2022-23 season, he played 27 times, scored 1 and assisted 3. In the current season that is ongoing, 14 matches played so far in the Ghana Premier League, he's currently played 9. He's not scored any goal as yet, and also he's assisted 1. So you look at his overall in the teams he's played 3 teams. In his professional football, he's played 159 times, scored 12, assisted 17. So his goal contributions within this 159 is close to 30 goals. That is his goal contribution, his 30 goals. So a lot of questions have been asked as to whether if you bring a player like Richmond Lamptey, when push gets to shove, will they be able to turn that is his form in the Ghana Premier League to the Black Stars? Because there have been that questions, there have been the argument that, I mean, for a player that has not had any stints with the Black Stars, you are pushing him into a major tournament like the AFCON, where AFCON, you need players that have had stints with the Black Stars before. The question is that if you fold or if you fill them into a Chris Hughton side that will play against a side like Egypt, Egypt in AFCON, will he be able to fare? Will he be able to produce the goods as expected of him? I mean, there's a multi-million-dollar question as to whether Richmond Lamptey will be able to fare for that is Ghana Black Stars. You get it. So I mean, we are advocating for local content, but the question is that, are we sending them on the merit of form? Are we sending them on the merit that, yes, these are players that will be able to play consistently when maybe senior players within the rank and file of the Black Stars are injured or are on suspension? So these are questions that will be raised every now and then, because we sent Ifrye Banier to the World Cup. He didn't play any minutes. Some say it was an experience, it was an exposure for him. Dan Lad was also sent. I mean, he got to deputize. He was one of 3 keepers. He got to deputize. He didn't have any playtime for the Black Stars. But the question is, if we are sending Richmond Lamptey, would he be able to deliver for the Black Stars when it's expected of him? Or this is the usual furor of agitating for players to be called to the Black Stars when they haven't gotten to that pedestal where they have gone through the ranks, probably for under 17, 20, 23, the local Black Stars, or then they are progressing to the Black Stars. It's a host of questions. My bit on this is that if Richmond Lamptey continues playing consistently, injury-free for that Kumasi Asante Kotoko, mine is that he gets a look in to the Black Stars. He gets a look into the Black Stars. I hope that Chris Hughton, I mean, he's watched a host of players in the Ghana Premier League, and he'll be able to select 1 or 2 players for that is the senior national team, the Black Stars. So what do you think about Richmond Lamptey's purported interest or his rise? Because people are saying that should he be included into the Black Stars? Do you think Richmond Lamptey should be included in the Black Stars? Do you think calls for Richmond Lamptey's inclusion into the Black Stars are valid? Are they valid? Should we include him into the Black Stars? I mean, drop your comments and your views or opinions on this in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please do so to subscribe to the channel. My name As Raphael Banamanquote, keep up alive with sports.